have everybody here today. I'd like to call to order the Horry County Solid Waste Authority Operating and Planning Committee. Today is June 20th. Present, we've got Ms. Creech, and we got Mr. Dan Gray in the audience, and we're glad to have everybody today. We're going to have an invocation, and then I'm going to ask Ms. Creech to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll just go from there. Let's pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for these and all other blessings. Continue to be with us and lead and guide us, in our decision-making process today. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't be able to say that in our sleep as much as we say that in our room.
Yeah. I need an approval of the agenda, please. I second.
Mr. Chairman, I think we got one thing that we wanted to add.
Oh, okay.
Get approval as amended.
1989, going to add a 1989 Ford L800 truck that we no longer use. Going to add it to the agenda. Any discussion on that?
That's under the sale of equipment. It'll go up under number 3. So,
Go up under number 3. Sale of, all right.
so it's not changing the agenda. It's just
Just add
adding
to
this,
it.
yeah, adding to the equipment.
Sort of not changed.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Second. All in favor say aye. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. We can change it, can't we, if we want to? All right. First thing on our agenda is to discuss the glass crusher at the MRF. That's going to be Mr. Mike Busser. Talk to us a little bit about that, Mr. Busser.
In our FY18 budget, we have the scheduled replacement of our glass crusher. We increased our budget in the FY18 from $250,000 to $300,000, trying to estimate what we thought it would cost. And we put them out to bid, and as you can see, we got several bids in. When we got them in, of course, Andela Glass is the one we have now. They got a bid price of $297,000 with the trade-in of our existing for $25,000 and a glass cleanup system of $52,000. They gave us a second option of $273,900 with $26,000 for the existing and a glass cleanup for a system for $52,000. The SWA, the difference in those two options is the SWA staff will be removing the existing equipment and have the site prepared for them when they bring in the new equipment. They'll just be installing the new equipment. So they won't be removing the old equipment. And that's the difference in those two prices. Then you got Machine X, as you can see, is $387,572 with a trade-in of $25,000 and a glass cleanup system of $138,000. And then REI bid $506,250 with a $10,000 trade-in, and that price included the cleanup system. We think it's important to have a cleanup system because we've had problems with metal being in the glass when it's sold. It's been an issue since day one, and we've been having problems with paper. So the office paper, when we started getting Charleston material, we started getting more office paper mixed in with the stuff, which gets into the glass.
Will that take out the needles and things that you were having a problem with, the cleanup system?
Yep, that's what the cleanup system would do. It would take out this $52,000 cleanup system, Andela, and so with the one with Machine X had a magnet in it that also does stainless steel, that removes stainless steel, and that's what a needle is. It's stainless steel, and that's why a typical magnet won't take up just regular stainless steel,
That's the reason we have needles left in.
right?
We have a magnet on the one we got
Right.
now, but it doesn't remove the stainless steel.
Right.
Right.
We asked for it to be removing at least 90, you ain't gonna get it 100% clean, but at least 95% of material was in the bid packet that they be removing. What has happened here, though, is with the bid price and everything else, it's going, the total price for the unit under option 2 of Andela is 300, still, all three bids are higher than what we budgeted for, by about $25,000. And what we're asking the board to do is to allow us to use some money out of our concrete repair, which we had $50,000 in our concrete repair for the compactor area. If you remember last year when we did it, we did the repair, when we did the floor, we did the repair to the compactor area at that time, and it is holding up. We're not having to wear up under it anymore like we haven't before. But there's not 100% guaranteed it'll hold up, but I'm just saying, since we had the floor done, that compactor area has held up. And we want to use the money, some money we got set aside with that, just so we can go ahead and get the glass crusher. Glass crusher we currently have is wore out. And it would cost us a tremendous amount of money to replace it or repair it. And it doesn't put out very good quality glass.
What kind of screens are coming with this? I know we talked one time about getting a screen that would actually, the sand would almost be the quality, or would be the quality that would sandblast.
They've actually recommended a smaller screen where it would take the glass out, but those can be changed. We can put smaller screens in them, not get the bigger sand, get the smaller stuff, and those are about $500 a piece. So, and we have to replace those currently, and would have to replace this one with the new one about every 6 months. The problem is finding a market for that stuff. We've tried to find markets for the sand portion of it, and we've had no luck. Or we talk to people about sandblasting, car dealers, and they buy it in small amounts, stuff like that. It has to, one big piece in that thing will jam up a gun. So you got to make sure it's 100% right if you're going to do that.
How many screens would you have to replace?
Well, it's got two different screens in it, one for the small and
Right.
one for the 3/8.
Well,
So at any point in time,
for the sandblasting.
We don't.
well, it's not necessarily a sandblasting screen, it's just a smaller screen. You would have to take it through a gyro, it's called a gyro screener, in order to get it to sandblasting kind. And there is one up under there that's in our e-budget. In our we keep it in there every year. It's budgeted in that money for e-money. So if we could ever find a market for it, and we had the money to buy the piece of equipment, we could. It's called a gyro screen.
Any idea how much the gyro screener runs? Have you had any?
I think we got in the budget for like don't hold me to this number, somewhere around $150,000-$200,000.
Storage was the main problem with
Yeah,
that
it
stuff.
couldn't have no moisture in it.
Right. Okay.
So you can't have any moisture in it, so we would have to do something as far as keeping it dry. We'd have to build some type of facility for.
Yeah.
The main problem is the market.
Yeah, if you don't have a market for it, they wouldn't buy it on any of the stuff in Charleston where,
Well, they don't do shipyards, the naval yard's gone, so.
yeah, so that definitely would.
Well, I think that was the area that we were looking at,
Yeah.
particularly was the
If anybody could,
shipyard.
it'd be Chris Fisher, with Fisher Recycling, and he's there, he does glass, that's all he does. And he's been trying to find a market for that stuff for years.
Okay.
That's the
What
boy
does
out
he
of
do with
Charleston,
his?
isn't that correct?
He makes, that's those tabletop things we
Okay.
got at the thing, he makes that
Right,
kind of stuff.
you showed us that. Okay.
He was out of Charleston, right?
Yeah, he is a glass
Yeah.
recycling
Mhm.
facility in Charleston.
Okay. About how long? It looks like we've had the one that we had maybe close to 5 years. Is
5
that-
years,
is
yeah,
that
it's
correct?
depreciated over 5 years.
Okay, so we think this one would last 5 years.
Mhm.
Okay, So we're basically spending around $60,000 a year to process glass.
Right. And we did ask for a bigger unit this time
Than what we have.
than what we had, hoping that we wouldn't keep it up under a strain. You know, it would have to work less. It's bigger hopper, bigger belts, everything.
Do you know how much we actually keep out of the landfill with glass a year? I have an
About
idea.
3,000 tons.
3,000 tons. Okay. I know you had mentioned a lot of people, and at the conventions, a lot of people just aren't doing glass. But I think we're getting enough, and we have the uses for it here. And to keep it out of the landfill, we need to do that, especially with the next year or so with Charleston, what we're getting from them. There's an amazing difference in these prices. I'm assuming they're all bidding on the same machine.
We
Same
we
size?
sort of opened it up for them to give us what they thought would work in our situation. Andela is actually owned by a lady. She engineered, designed this machine. She owns a company called, what's the name of it? Ruby Lakes Glass. And she could not find a glass machine that would work properly at her manufacturing place, so she designed and built this thing for her place, and then started selling it. Then she started selling it on the open market after she got done.
I don't think, is there anything wrong with it?
No,
Is
it's
that
not
what you're
anything,
saying?
no, I was being a smart aleck. It wasn't anything.
I tell you what, when we interviewed,
Yeah.
she was the most knowledgeable one. She talked way out of my ring. I mean, she got out there in the engineering world
But
Well-
she uses it in her own manufacturing
process.
facility. Right, right.
Yeah. I'm assuming we don't have any problem getting parts and getting it worked on that's working well.
Rich, you probably can answer that question. We don't have any parts. We did, on the current machine we got, they have a different type of hammer that breaks it up. And she has redesigned those hammers so they don't wear as bad. And we're hoping with these new ones that we don't have to wear that we had before.
Mr.
Because-
Stanley, you don't feel like there's any need to stock the parts, right?
Come up here to the phone.
What's the question?
You don't feel like we need to stock any of these parts. Ms. Creeks just asked Mike about stocking parts, if we had any parts. You don't feel like there's necessary,
We do stock some parts. We keep hammers, brushes, screens, not a lot of stuff.
Right.
And wear plates. So some of the stuff we keep, and it takes about a week to get the parts. Anything that's special.
what kind of warranty we looking at here?
It's 1 year.
1 year?
Okay. Have we had a lot of downtime with this particular machine?
We didn't until here in the last 6-8 months. We've had a lot of downtime. If the machine got more wore out, it started having more and more downtime because the whole of it is just wore out. You think about it, I think sandblasting,
Yeah.
20 hours a day, it's sitting there sandblasting.
So you don't have any complaints about the machine, this particular equipment?
The old one, yes, and we've addressed that. They've come up with some new metals, chromium steel, supposed to last twice as long. The wear plates are different, so all of our complaints have been addressed, and they've already started making it. When it rains, the paper in the hopper gets stuck. They've fixed that problem, so all of our problems that we came up with have already been addressed. So when we walked around with Ms. Andela, it was refreshing. She knew all the problems she had with her machine, and she's already improved them.
Okay, that's great.
A good example was on the current one we got is tape will get around, filming tape will get around the shaft and wear the bearing out. When we brought it up, yep, I've already taken care of that. Because she's running it, she had those same problems, so she fixed it, designed it, did an engineering design to change it.
And so anything problems we've had, we include them in the specifications.
And talked and discussed them with them,
Right, at your pre-con meeting.
right.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to transfer the money?
So moved.
I second. Ayes have it, so we will recommend to the board that the money be moved. Next on the agenda, we have a purchase of a forklift. Mr. Bassett? Again.
We had an old Cat forklift at the landfill, was at the MRF and moved it to the landfill, and the landfill was using it, but when we got Charleston, our issue was is that we had 2 forklifts and had no backup. So we started using the Cat forklift. We currently have 2 Toyotas, and they, well, he must be calling both of us.
$5.
That's it.
Oh, my
Throw it on the table.
So,
Use the ring.
That doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't? $5. Oh. Go
But-
ahead, Mr. Bassett, I
So,
apologize.
what happened
I
was,
cut it off.
we started using and the transmission went out of that one. So it's an older unit. It's a 2002 Ritchie unit. Number one is you couldn't find a used transmission for it anywhere. Yeah, that's the Cat. And they, and so it was rebuilt, and they estimated somewhere around $10,000 to rebuild it. And so when it come back up with that, I just told Richie I started looking for another option to try to get that third forklift in, and not have to spend $10,000 in an old one. So we have a skid steer that's scheduled to be replaced in this year's budget, in FY18's budget, and we have $58,000 budgeted. And then we have a new forklift in FY19 that's scheduled to be replaced for $52,000. So what we're asking the board to do to allow us to swap those, we'll buy the skid steer in 2019 and the forklift in 2018, with both prices being compatible or comparable. And that's what we're asking permission to do today, is to allow us to buy that forklift. Well, on top of that, we currently have 1 forklift. Last Friday night, we had an accident at the MRF, and the forklift turned over. And there's so much damage to it, we don't think it's repairable. Yeah,
Was anyone on it?
yeah, there was somebody on it.
Are they okay?
They're okay.
Okay.
They didn't get hurt, any hurt at all. But it laid over on its side, bent the mast up on it, tore the forks off of it. So it's pretty damaged. So
I would say so.
we will turn that into the insurance company and see how that turns out. So we definitely need this one. Hopefully, if the insurance company gives us enough money to either repair it or replace it, we'll be dealing with that one, and that will give us the backup. However, it'll take 3 to 4 months to get one, even this one or the other one.
So we don't have a forklift.
We have one, and we're renting one at about $2,200 a month.
So we gonna step it up, any way to step up delivery on that?
Of course, we got to put it out to bid.
Okay, oh, all right, yeah, because this is, huh?
Yeah, it's not on state bid, so we can't just buy it off state bid. So we
Okay.
got to put it out to bid, so that's going to take some time to do that. We ain't really got an option. We have to put it out to bid, so.
Okay, in an emergency, in other words, you still can't do that. Go ahead and get prices and, okay. How did it lay over on its side?
It was actually, had a container on it, and it's got rotators on it that turns the containers upside down, so you can dump the material out. Driver's mistake, last part of the shift, he was in a hurry, kept the container up in the air, trying to lower the container as he was going back to put the container back, and it's top heavy, and it laid over on its side.
Okay.
All right, well, we just,
So, not only sort of double the hurt when it comes to forklifts.
Move along as quick as we can with it then. Do we have any other questions?
And you said that, are both of our forklifts Caterpillar?
No, the old one, the 2002 model was Cat, the other two are Toyotas. They won the last two bids.
Okay.
We
Okay.
couldn't, Cat could not find us a used transmission for that thing, though.
They could not find a used transmission for theirs?
No, for the one we had,
For
because
the
we were
one
gonna
you
try to
had.
put a used transmission in it.
Okay, okay. Or, and I guess this is everything that comes up that we're buying now, because we're gonna start looking into the future on different things and diversions and whatever. Is this going to be big enough to handle? We
Yeah.
have Charleston, we have all of that, so anything in the future, this will, what you're looking at is size that will handle that.
Yeah, basically, when Charleston goes away, we will get rid of one of those forklifts.
Okay,
Probably what we'll most likely do is take the oldest one and move it, offer it to Bill, transfer it to Bill to landfill so they can unload stuff and stuff, because they don't, if something comes shipping in and a truck pulls up, it's kind of hard for them to get something, get it unloaded, or move stuff around the shop a lot of times. And, so we would transfer one of those, our older unit back out to, the landfill and let them use it.
okay.
So you asking to use the skid steer money to purchase the forklift? is what
Right,
you-
and then in
what-
FY19, we'll purchase the skid steer.
So you think that will last that long?
Oh, yeah.
That you
yeah,
shouldn't have
yeah.
any problem
They're
with?
good for about, I think our current one's got how many miles, hours on them? That? Yeah,
Ooh, that's a lot on a forklift.
well, we found that it's not.
Huh?
The skid, we're talking
Forklift.
about the,
Oh, that,
They're good for about 20,000 hours.
okay. Okay, I make a motion that we recommend, the use of the capital funds to purchase a new forklift in the place of the skid steer in FY18.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So that will be the recommendation that will go to the board then. All right, thank you, Mr. Besson. We've got sale of surplus equipment, Mr. Bill Hilling.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. We have 3 pieces of equipment we'd like to put on Gov Deals. The first one is our 2008 Peterson grinder. We sent out our bids and asked for trade-in value with all the bids. When they came back, they were all over the board. And the lowest bid offered the highest trade-in, and the unit that was going to cost the most offered the least bit of trade-in. So Rich and I have talked about it, and in order to try to get a really good number that we're comfortable with, we'd like to go ahead and put that's the first unit, put it on Gov Deals and leave it on there for a few weeks and just see what it does. This will be for FY18, not the year we're in now, but our new physical year. We put it on there and put a reserve on there, see if we can get it. We've got some depreciation we want to pay for. Some of the numbers that came in on the trade-in would not cover that, so we want to make sure we can cover that financially.
They had pretty good success with you doing that too, haven't you?
Yes,
Sure
we
have.
have.
Right. Any questions? Do I hear a motion to,
Make a motion, for the Operation and Planning Committee approve the surplus sale on govdeals.com of used equipment 307.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll pass that on to the board.
Okay, our second unit is a articulated dump truck, off-road truck. It's a 2004 Volvo. It's got about 17,000 hours on it. We haven't, or we just in the process of getting our bid ready and getting it out for that. We don't know what we'll get back, but we want to have the same option to put it on Gov Deals with a reserve. That way, when we get our bids in, if we can get more money on Gov Deals, we'll take that. If one of our vendors offers more than Gov Deals, then we can accept that there. So we will take the best of any deal that we get.
What do we do with articulated dump trucks?
They haul cover mainly for us.
Okay, they're expensive things. I was looking them up on the internet.
Probably this year between 450 and 475.
Just under 500,000.
Yes, sir.
We don't buy anything cheap right here.
You don't want any cheap stuff, do you?
We dealing with garbage here, yeah.
That's right.
Everything with garbage costs money.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Did we buy the Volvo new?
Yes, we've gotten our money. I think Mr. Campbell will tell you 17,000 hours
Yeah.
on a unit like that.
Right.
And it's starting to get a little bit more costly, like Mike was saying on some of his things over there, you know, instead of keep investing. So it's, what is it, 13 years old?
Right. They running it every day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Make a motion, the Operations and Planning Committee approve the surplus sale on Gov Deals of used equipment number 377.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll pass that on up to the
Thank you.
board, to the board.
And our last one is a 1980 Ford L800, kind of a flatbed truck. We really don't use it anymore. If we're gonna move something around, we'll use our lowboy trailer. Rich did some research on it. Looked like some of the numbers he came up with, they seemed a little high, but he thinks we ought to put it on Gov Deals for $15,000. So that's over the $10,000 threshold that we have there. So we would also like y'all's approval to put that on Gov Deals, and you know, it's just an obsolete piece of equipment we're not using, so free up some space outside.
Recommendation?
So moved.
All right. We'll pass that on also to the board.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We want to talk about some diversion equipment and trips. And-
Mr. Chairman, can I ask two things?
Sure.
That have to do with that before we go on to that?
Okay.
The floor that we had repaired,
Yes, ma'am.
is that finished? Have they come back out and done that? Because I saw on the check register, we wrote, floor repair.
75,000.
Yeah,
Yeah. They came out, did all the repairs on it, put the epoxy up under it, drilled the holes in it and fixed it. You know, when you go across it with a hammer, you could hear it tap. You know, it doesn't do that anymore. I personally checked it myself to make sure. So since they have done this since back in the spring, once they completed that, I agreed to pay half to them and hold the other half.
so that's what that is half, and hold the other half to see how it holds up.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
Did-
And I've talked to them about different ways of warranty and ensuring that it'd be right. So we're in that discussion now.
okay, I had seen that on the check register, and I just wanted to check with you, but I think that was a great thing that you withheld that until we saw what was going on, and doing it that way. Thank you very much.
And
You found a couple, excuse me, just a minute. You found a couple of spots there, but y'all went back and checked them out again, and it was okay?
Yep, everything's okay now.
All right, and they are gonna get back with you with some type of warranty,
Well,
or at least have some discussion on.
way I left it with them before I'd pay anything else, I had to have some pretty good insurances that they were going to be able to assure us, the Solid Waste Authority, that if anything happened, that they would be warranted enough to fix it. The current warranty that they gave us in writing was they guaranteed it for 5 years, which is a pretty good warranty. But I just felt better holding the money than I did
Yeah,
paying it, so.
Well, it got their attention, and of course, they came back and
Yeah.
have rectified everything it appears.
And I'll be honest with you, the guy that been working with on it, he has been extremely honest. He's not hid anything. I knew it had voids in it before he got there. When he got there and checked it that day, he didn't try to hide it, didn't try to act like it wasn't there. He said, this is what it is, and this is what it shouldn't be doing and should be doing.
Yeah.
He did not. He has been totally honest
yeah,
through the whole thing, and I probably would not have recommended paying that amount of money if I had not felt the honesty had been there since day one.
okay. Thank you, I just wanted to check on that. The other thing, you had a piece of equipment, a Caterpillar piece of equipment that we had some downtime on. Is that piece working correctly now?
Since we got it back, we've had, Rich, why don't you come on up and talk about the 914?
Where would you like to start?
I think the question they had was, you know, what, since we got the piece of equipment back, what issues has happened with it?
Since it's come back, we haven't had zero issues. Everything seems to have been fixed. It runs every day.
Running as it should and handling the,
Yep.
but we're putting an awful lot of hours on that thing, what, 20 hours a day?
Yeah, it's getting its work out.
Right,
About every 2 weeks, I usually go over there with Darren and Raymond, and from Blanchard, and we do a walk around and inspect it, because they're petrified, you know, something bad's gonna happen, but we're looking at it, we're all over it, and
Right.
nothing really has happened.
Right.
I'm sure something will. I mean, it's mechanical.
sure.
But the problems that we had originally, they've gone away. That's been all
Okay.
addressed.
They've corrected all that.
Yes, that's all
So
been
they
addressed.
finally found out what the real problem was. I know there were a couple of times they worked on it and it
Yeah,
kept having problems with
the
it.
last wiring harness we changed, all the problems electrically went away.
Okay. Did we ever figure out how much downtime we actually had going through this process?
Well, I would say downtime was limited because they gave us a piece of equipment to use for
They
free.
gave you a piece of equipment to use to take care of that. Was it still under warranty?
Our machine?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You got a better warranty on a 5-year floor.
That machine did not have TM&R. It was a 1-year warranty.
That was the way we chose to bid it though, correct?
Huh?
I don't think they offer TM&R on that machine, do they? The size and the class it is?
It's a smaller class. He's right.
Yeah,
So
You're right.
all the repairs were kind of done in good faith, but they ate probably more than half of the cost, if not all of it. So I think they stepped up to the plate and they took care of us.
So you're satisfied with that?
Yes,
That was another question. Thank you very much. I'm glad they did.
thank you.
I'm through, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Knight, you were gonna say something?
Is that enough?
You, all right, I'd like to request that Mr. Knight and Mr. Bassett and Mr. Stetter, we talking about the diversion equipment and going looking at different types of equipment that we have, that can help us. But I'd like, for you three guys to let's take a look at a certified rebuild of the MRF. And let's pursue that. Let's look at, what kind of money we're talking about, rebuilding the MRF. And we want to do as much of the work as we possibly can ourselves. And so, if you guys will take a look and see what's out there, what kind of money we're talking about. I'd like to see the MRF be in great shape when we finish with Charleston, and we think, what, 12 months maybe. And it would probably take 2 or 3 months to do a certified rebuild, I would think, on the MRF. But let's take a look and see what we're talking about. And what we're talking about on a certified rebuild, folks, is you go in there and you bring these vendors in, let them go through the MRF and take a look at the equipment that we can use, have at least 50% life left into it. We reuse that and put any other equipment that needs to be replaced. But it should be, and they should be able to give us a warranty with a certified rebuild. These vendors should be able to. So we want to know what kind of warranty they would give us on a certified rebuild. Mr. Knight, you have some conversation about that, and anything particular come to your mind?
Oh, yeah.
Do you? Yes, sir. I felt sure you did. Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Oh, is it?
First off, I don't really know what a certified rebuild is. We don't even know what we want.
Right.
We've got to determine that. And I think we will determine that by the end of the summer, with these areas that we're going to look and talk to and talk about. The Lakeshore Group in Chicago, I talked to He's, I guess, about the number 2 guy in charge yesterday at length, and told him what we wanted to look at, that we wanted to look at, what would be the older MRF, they got, I think, 5. We want to look at the new one. And he said, well, new one is Machine X, and I said, well, Charleston County is doing Machine X equipment. Want to see how they do the maintenance, what changes they're making. They've got a dust control unit that they have put in, and I told him I'd read about it in one of the magazines last week, and he said, I'm gonna order another one tomorrow. So, there's odor control with that thing. It's not fans, it's the, water item,
Misting system.
yeah. So, I told him that we wanted to look at the optical sorters. They're in the process of putting in a digester in a couple of weeks. They do C&D recycling, so I think we first got to determine what it is that we think we need for the future. And yeah, I think CP and Machine, the big 5 can come in and tell you all these things, but you got to be able to tell them what you need and what you think and what additional materials you're looking at. But I think it's something that by the end of the summer, we'll know kind of where we are, and most of where we're going. And what's so good about the Chicago group is they don't have a landfill. And they think that if people's got a landfill and in the recycling business, it's kind of a conflict. And they take pride in putting their information in all the books and magazines of how much they take out of the waste stream and how much they take into the MRF. I told we wanted to talk to them about their educational programs, about their marketing programs, who does that, how they do it, their maintenance on the old stuff, the new stuff, what's out there, and he called some piece of equipment that I wasn't familiar with, and they're getting ready to make a decision on that. So I think this end of August, and I don't know what kind of time frame that you were talking about doing this.
Well, as quick as, as quick as we can. I think they're talking about the certified rebuild just for a moment. There are some vendors out there that will come in and do, is that not correct, Bassett? Haven't you had some conversation?
They'll come in and rebuild a current piece of machinery you got, put new belts on, new rollers, new bearings, go through them. That kind of stuff is what it'd be. You can find somebody like a David Johnson or REI or even CP Manufacturer do it. Any of those companies like that will come in and just rebuild it, and take all the wear parts off of it. It's more than 50% more and replace it.
But it's sure you don't want to do that and take it out in a year and a half.
Right,
Oh,
absolutely.
No.
We need to get our plan together on where we're heading. But
No,
we're open.
When I speak of a certified rebuild, I'm looking for it to be as if it would be a new piece of equipment when they finish with their going through it and taking a look. And they can go through and take a look and come back and give us some kind of ballpark figure. But we've got, how many more years we got on the MRF before 5? What's the
Depreciation, if you're talking about depreciation on the MRFs,
Depreciation, right.
2023, it's
2000.
been fully depreciated.
And I'm kind of glad that you brought that up, because Rich and I had been looking at very same program on compacting.
Yes.
So
Yeah, they offer it on, the compactors too. The certified rebuilds. And you'll get a new machine warranty from the factory.
Do any of our employees know how to, you know how to change the belts and different things? What of that could you do and what could you not?
Well, the problem is we don't have the manpower. I mean, you gotta have somebody that can take it down on Friday afternoon and have whatever section they took down completed, welders, thing, and back up and going by Monday morning. Now, the other option would be shut the plant down for 15 weeks or so, and I don't think that's an option. So you gotta be able to come in, so that means you gotta have a bunch of people come in to work on a certain section a weekend at a time. And be willing to work 24 hours a day for 2 or 3 days.
That's not feasible, but I don't think that it would be.
St. Charleston was like it, and
Myrtle
I don't
Beach.
think we need to be rebuilding till Charleston's handling their own. Maybe. You can look at it and see and compare that to what you would be new, but, and I think all those are good things to
Right.
do and to know, but I do think we need, as a board, to have an idea where we're going to be going in the future, and to make plans for that. So many times people do things piecemeal, and that's very costly. And I don't think we should be doing that. I think at this point where we are, we have time to look at where we want to be and take the time to do that and look at the different equipment out there to be able to do that in the future, because when 3 and 4 and 5 years, you get total new equipment, new pieces and new things. And I think we definitely need to look into what the future's going to bring before we decide what we're gonna do.
And definitely it would be after, whether you're talking new or certified rebuild or whatever, would be after the Charleston contract.
If we had to shut it down 2 or 3 weeks, yes, I
Well,
would think
yeah.
we would need to do that if we couldn't do it differently.
I asked CP one time, just nothing firm, if they wanted to come in, if they came in and rebuilt the whole equipment. They said it had to be shut down for 15 weeks.
15 weeks.
Hmm.
And we can't shut down for 15 weeks. Even if we don't have Charleston, I can't see that happening.
Nope.
So that means we will not be doing that.
The other option would be to try to look at it piecemeal at the time, but CP's not gonna wanna do that, because they're gonna have to bring people in from all over the country, and they
To
can't
do
come,
that.
fly in every weekend to do it. You'd have to get somebody else to do something like that if you was gonna do it.
Well, at least we can take a look, like Danny said earlier, at least we'll take a look at the whole picture. We have all the information there and make the best decision, in what direction we need to go in.
And I think we have, the diversion committee's going to Chicago August 14th to the 17th. That's set up.
Yeah, that's right. 14th through 17th, August.
Okay. And I think they had a lot of the equipment and the different processes all in one place,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, they've got, a lot of facilities around the Chicago. I mean, you can probably look at 5 or 6 of them in one day. And they're willing to do that, and he said that he would be our guide, and he would, lead us to each one of them, and he would be with us for probably that full day and maybe part of the next morning. Depending on what we see and what we may want to see again.
I think that's gonna be a good trip to see a lot of things at one time, so that you don't have to make any more than one in that area right there. And I think that's gonna take care of a lot of the different equipment we wanted to look at in the process. Okay. And I'm thrilled it's in August, not in October, November, and December.
Mercy.
Are there any other places that, in this area or anywhere around here, the equipment we've been looking at that they would
Well,
have?
when we were kind of having problems getting this thing pulled together, we went ahead and pulled some information on West Palm Beach, and they've they've just put one of the new burn centers in, first one in the United States in a number of years, so they have two. They do collection centers. They do the whole thing. And I was thinking about maybe trying to put that together sometime within the time frame, and of course, we've got SWANA in Baltimore, end of September. And you'll see a lot of people, a lot of things there, hear a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the larger one, isn't it, with the
That's the big
equipment
one.
and everything, that's the big one. I'm glad it's closer than it's been.
So I think Baltimore is a must. We need to go to the national convention, and we need to gather as much information in Chicago as we can with those folks. And I think that might very well be a place that we revisit with some of the other board members to really show them what it is that we're talking about. But we'll know when we get there, whether it's
Your conversation with him, though, he did lean toward sharing with us, and,
oh yeah,
I mean, because, it's been sort of up and down.
yeah, he kind of wanted to know what we wanted to see, what the questions, and I told him we'd be looking at, the guy that's running the MRF here would be with us, and he had a bunch of questions on what they pull out, the markets, how we deal with the markets, where it goes, education, composting. We want to look at their C&D recycling, transfer stations, that very well may. And I know one of the things that West Palm Beach put in is they've actually got, I think, a new transfer station close to their burn center to where they truck a bunch of stuff out also. But transfer station may be something we need to be looking at for the future also.
No doubt about that. We're looking, what we say, 2035, is that what we?
Yeah.
Or our landfill running now?
So this summer, as we told the council the other night, is gonna be very important. And I think for the end of the summer through the fall, we will kind of have our directions in place. Hopefully.
Well, that's what we're looking for. That's for sure. Do we have anything else? Anybody else need to discuss anything else? Or anything that we've discussed? All right, well, we shall adjourn if you make a motion.
So move.
So be it. Thank you so much, everybody.